Hello and welcome to the big picture. Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu presented his second budget here today, and the highlight was him not announcing a slew of new trains and tracks and projects like we have become used to. While departing from his predecessors in these matters, Prabhu also announced a slew of measures aimed at improving the passengers' travelling experience. He also focused on restructuring, reorganizing, and rejuvenating the railways, and therefore, instead of announcing new trains and tracks, he focused on completing the existing projects. However, he also disappointed many by not being able to reach the revenue targets both in passengers and freight. His ambitious capital expenditure targets are also being looked at with some amount of skepticism. Today, we will look at what this railway budget means, to what extent the railway minister, who last year had set out to restructure and reorganize the railways, has succeeded in his task, and how he plans to take the railways forward in the coming year. To discuss this, I have with me a panel of experts: A.P. Mishra, former member Railway Board; Satish Mishra, senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation; Shiv Gopal Mishra, Secretary General, All India Railwaymen Federation; and Sanjay Singh, Deputy Bureau Chief, Dainik Jagran, will be joining us very soon. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Mishra, Mr. A.P. Mishra, all Mishras here today, so I have to be careful. So, you know, this trend which we have witnessed last year also, this year also, of the railway minister not announcing this. There used to be a separate section of new tracks, new trains, and new projects being announced, and it would go on and on and on, 2-3 pages. But you think that what this railway minister has been doing is the right thing? Has he succeeded from last year also?
There are two aspects to it. The first is that the shelf of project in railways has become too big.
Right.
There are projects which will not get completed in next 2 decades also because of the resource
I have personally known projects which have not been completed after 3 decades.
That's correct. There are yes, a few projects which are pending for last 3 decades, and this is because of resource crunch.
Right.
Railways are spending on projects about 50,000 crores now, which was 20,000 crores earlier, and the shelf of projects is more than 200,000 crores. So it's a very correct strategy now not to include new projects and focus on completion of the existing projects. Very rightly, the minister has said that his focus will be on commissioning of projects,
right,
and that he will not introduce any new project. This is a little disappointment to many politicians, but I think
I can tell you to most of the members of the parliament who would look forward every year.
But there are two things: non-introduction of new trains and not announcing new projects. You would have seen that the budget goes on very smoothly, because otherwise the person whose trains are and projects are announced, they keep quiet, and the people.
No, the chair.
They sometimes cheer not very loudly. But those whose projects and trends are not announced, they jeer very loudly. Right. So he has avoided, in his last 2 budgets, he has avoided this.
Okay, so we'll come back to how much he has been successful in this effort compared to last year. Mr. Satish Mishra, one of the disappointments this year is supposed to be that he has not been able to reach the targets which he had set for himself, both in terms of freight and passenger. Why do you think he has not been able to achieve the targets?
Let us accept first that the economy has been facing lots of problems. Productions have been coming down, manufacturing sector has not been performing well. And similarly, all related industries and areas are suffering. So, freight particularly is related to that economic activity. And there are various reasons for that it hasn't happened. There is overall global slowdown. The Chinese economy is suffering. The European economy is at standstill. The US economy, though, it has picked up, but not substantial. So it's a global. Even internally, things have not been in shape. That is the reason. And if people's income are not rising, then even passenger
you think
volume will suffer.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, would you like to respond to that? Is that the reason? Is the global economy, the slowdown in global economy, the
That is
reason?
one of the reasons. One big reason is that railway has been relying on about 10 commodities for their freight earning.
Right.
And one of the major commodities, which is about 50% of the total loading, is coal. And this year, coal has suffered a lot because of the government policy. The government decided that in the government-run powerhouses, they will only use coal which is indigenous.
Right.
And import of coal has substantially reduced. Because of that, the coal loading reduced, and coal is one of the high-rated items for the revenue. That is why there has been a shortage of about 12,000 crores or 11,000 crores in the freight earning. This coal has been, so railways will have to look into more diversified areas of and more product range which they can carry, and the minister has announced that he will commission a study as to how to increase the basket and increase the number of commodities which the railway should carry.
How do you explain the lowering of the passenger fares when the revenue targets not
Volume
being
passengers.
met?
The passenger growth has been 12%. It has been pegged this year at 12%, and actually the road has improved vastly. If you will
So
see,
the roadways have been affecting the
eating
rail
into
transport
both passenger as well as freight segment.
rates. That's what the minister also was talking about. Getting these things back from the roadways. So obviously the roadways have improved. The road transport has improved.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gopal Mishra, Shiv Gopal Mishra, from the Railwaymen's Federation, what is it that the minister has offered to this vast number of railwaymen who works in the railways?
The large number of railwaymen, about 13,26,000 in the railways. What we find in the railway budget, we have 2-3 very encouraging words from our Honorable Minister. I am proud to state that I had a workforce that is sincere and dedicated. But apart from these words, we don't find anything motivating to the railwaymen, and that's why it is quite disappointing to the railwaymen, the large workforce which is responsible for running this organization round the clock. About 700-800 people lay their lives every year. He has talked that he will bring the Rakshak for them. I hope that it happens. So, to my what I want to say that this budget is can be very good to the public for the users, provided the funds is arranged, what Railway Minister has said, but so far railwayman is concerned, it is very disappointing. We are quite disappointed that no much thing which was expected for the welfare schemes of the railwaymen, that is not there.
Okay. Sanjay Singh, one of the things which is being, which because of which there has been some disappointment is the way in which the operating ratio has gone up. The target was about 88.5, it has gone up to 90, and next year the minister himself is talking of it going up to 92. So where are the funds going to come from for all these ambitious schemes which the minister is talking about?
Actually, minister is relying upon the alternate resource generation. He is going to generate revenue from the passenger amenities which will be charged from the passengers. Add-on services, like if you want to buy better linen, you have to pay. If you want to have a better clean toilet, you have to pay for that. If you want to drink a better potable water, you have to pay. So all this kind of things he is relying upon. Apart from passenger services, he is relying upon the freight and station development. He is going to get revenue from station development, from freight terminals, PPP mode, and he will get additional revenue from parcel services, parcel trains. Some of the revenue will come from premium trains like this Tejas, like Humsafar, and this Deen Dayalu. Although Deen Dayalu is for common public,
Okay.
but for going for more passenger train, he can get
Okay.
better revenue.
Okay.
And another thing is advertisement. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Mishra, the question is that, all this, from where is he going to generate the revenue? He's talking about getting 1.5 lakh crores from the LIC obviously as a loan over the next 5 years. But, when it comes to the modernization plan, he has a very grand modernization plan which talks about 8.8 lakh crores. 1.5 lakh crores we are told is going to come from the LIC. Where are the money? Where is the funds going to come from for rest of it?
You are right. This is a real matter of concern because he has not laid out as to how the money will come. He has shown the expenditure part, but the income part is not very clear. The freight income is clearly known that he will earn this much money from freight, 1,20,000 crores. From passengers,
Even that is being questioned because last year the freight revenue was not that.
but this year the target is modest. This year last year they had shown an increase incremental loading of 85 million ton. This year it is only 50 million ton, which perhaps is achievable.
So the target is modest.
Target is modest, but then there is no mention as to how much he will garner from monetization of railway assets. How much he will garner.
We have heard
from
about this monetization of railway assets for a long time now. How much of it has been done so far?
Hardly anything.
Isn't it? Because we
Even
have
the
heard
land,
this. It's not even the last 10-15 years we have been.
Land earnings are very, very meager, and none of the big projects has yet succeeded. So he will have to really take a call on this. And because you see, land is such a thing that if you give a land to somebody for development, it is always questionable later on as to whether you have given him free, charged him less. Because the
So they have
land
not been able to. So are you trying to say that the government has not been, over the years, has not been able to come out with some kind of a plan how to deal with this thing?
No, plan is there, but the execution of plan and proper execution of plan has not been there. That is why in the earnings from land, we have not made any headway, many big headway. So the railway minister will have to, because when he will go to the brass tacks, then he will have to outline as to from each resource, each area, how much money he will get. The only two broad areas which he has pointed out are passenger earning, freight earning, other passenger and other coaching earning. But other things
that is hardly going to be anything, especially the huge expenditure which he is showing.
Taking loan, in fact, in this budget, he has also not mentioned what budgetary support.
We are told that budgetary support will be about 40,000 crores.
40,000, that is the usual. Every year it increases by 5-10%.
But last year there was a problem.
But it used to be mentioned in the budget as to how the plan size will be comprised of.
We are told it's about 40,000 crores this year also.
The plan size is 1,21,000.
No, budgetary support.
But it is not mentioned. It
Okay.
used to be mentioned, but it is not mentioned as to how much will be internal generation, how much will be budgetary support, how much loan will be from IRFC. All that is not clearly, only one line is mentioned.
Sir, one more thing is about the public-private partnership. Even I think Sanjay Singh also was mentioning about that. How successful is the private-public because when this government came to power, first budget, they spoke, there was a lot of focus on the public-private partnership.
It is not yet, I will say that the success rate is not very good, but they are working very, very hard on it. They are really trying that PPP succeeds because that is how the projects will get generated and you will have a delayed payment to the entrepreneurs. So a special PPP cell empowered PPP cell has been created with very bright officers there. And the government is also, see, one of the things which is required in PPP that you have a stable policy.
Right.
You don't change the goalpost every time. So the government has realized it. They have come out with a document, and I think that maybe in a year or 2 years this will be successful.
Okay.
And another thing is partnership with the states.
I'm coming to that.
yes.
I'll come to that. Yes, Shivgopal Mishra, you want to respond?
Yeah, I want to say that Mishra ji has tried to, though he has clearly told that in PPP we did not get anything substantial. But I want to tell you that PPP had been utter failure. This will be utter failure because no entrepreneur will come and invest their money in the railways because of the non-clear policies of the government. Number one. Number two, this railway is the social object of this country. And therefore, one thing this government should keep in their mind, that this instrument is for the poorest of the poor of the country, for the common man of the country. So what they are thinking of the privatization or PPP, those projects are not going to take successful. The one thing is more that you want to take loan from LIC, you are taking loan on 9% interest. No project will give an ROR return, will not be more than 9%, and therefore the railway will be in the complete debt trap, we can say. It will be in the debt, and therefore we have always cautioned to the government, to the minister, that we should not do such a thing, that railway should become a instrument
fall into
where
a debt.
one should see that the railway
Okay.
should be destroyed and
Okay.
railway should not be available for the common people of this country.
Okay, I think
So
you have
my
made an important point.
humble submission is
Okay.
that though railwaymen are trying to run these railways with all efficiency, we don't want that it should be the PPP or FDI project should be implemented on the railway.
Okay. Satish Mishra, how do you respond to that? The whole PPP business, and also now they're talking of joint venture with the state governments.
See, this is an ideological question, ideological positioning. Now,
Not just ideological. They have been talking about for the last 2 years. How much of it has been successful? Mr. Mishra says that it's not been.
Fact of the matter is that PPP model has not been very successful.
Because we have
in
heard
recent
this during the
years.
UPA period also.
In recent years, it's not been very successful. And as Mr. Mishra pointed out rightly so, the government policies have been changing, the goalposts have been changing. We will have to rise above party politics. We will have to put in place a very firm PPP model. Now, naturally, the problem, as you very rightly mentioned, is the fund generation, resource generation. Now, you can't continue to stick to older models. You will have to be innovative. And I must say that the present minister is trying to be innovative. He's trying to throw up ideas. And if this PPP model with the states comes true, and it has potential of success, because every state wants something for itself. Now, states...
The question is, how much does the state itself have the funds to offer for this kind of projects?
Let us not forget that states in some aspects have much more funds today. Some states.
So, Sanjay Singh, what has been the success rate of both the PPP so far, and what do you think of this joint venture with the state governments?
Yeah. Actually, PPP has been an utter failure, as Mr. Shivgopal Mishra has already said. But this time they are trying to get it successful through state governments, because they have formed joint venture with the state government with the major stake, and the state government will form JV companies with the private sector as well as PSUs and ports, etc. So they are now trying to get state governments involved in this process, because without the support of state government, private companies will not be successful, because land and all these problems are always there in the states and they have to deal with. So that is why they are relying upon the states now.
Okay.
As far as PPP success rate up to date is concerned, some success is felt this time, but not very much.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, this whole PPP model, the success or failure of it, and now it's very interesting what Sanjay Singh says, that this whole bringing in the state governments is essentially to overcome the problems which they are facing in the PPP model.
It's like this. For a PPP model to succeed, the person who is investing in the project should have sufficient confidence that he will get a return on his investment in a short span of time. Railway projects, most of the projects, that is why I told that the minister has done a good thing by not sanctioning many projects, because most of the projects in the railway shelf have a ROR, they have a ROR which is much below the 14% benchmark. It's not even 10% in many projects. That is why a suggestion has been given to the minister that if you borrow the money from financial institutions, you should invest only in those projects which give you a ROR which is higher than the rate of interest.
Right.
Also, the PPP will succeed in doubling and tripling, because those projects in high density routes give a very high ROR because of lot of traffic moving on it. So he should give those projects to on PPP, because if you give losing projects, then you are not going to.
No, then nobody is going to take up losing projects.
Some of the projects which have succeeded are, for example, Bharuch Dahej, the port connectivity, the Kutch railway project. They have succeeded because the entrepreneurs got their investment, good return on their investment.
Okay, sir, there's another issue is that the minister has made a pledge, has announced that there's going to be 2,800 kilometers of new tracks will be commissioned during 2016-17 this year. You think that's a very ambitious target? You think it can be met?
No, it can be met. You see, we have already 2011, 12, 12, 13. We have already done up to 2,300
per year.
Per year, yes. And this year they are targeting 2,500, which the minister has stated that it will.
We are told, I'm sorry, I was reading somewhere that the average per year during the last several, say 10, 15 years has been 200 kilometers a year.
No, that is not correct. I have figures with me. Right from 2007, 8, 8, 9, when the gauge conversion, or even earlier 2000, when the gauge conversion started, then the gauge conversion projects were given high priority because of the government policy. Then we have given higher priority now to doubling and tripling, and we are doing 800 kilometers for last few years.
Okay.
And doubling, new line gauge conversion, these are the 3 capacity addition projects, and we have been doing more than 2,000 kilometers for last 4 or 5 years. 2,500 this time is very much achievable, and I am told from my colleagues with whom I have contact that they will achieve it. Only difference now, slight difference is that they have stressed on commissioning.
Talking of commissioning.
Earlier it used to be completion. Completion means you complete the railway line, run an engine on it, and you say that I have completed. Commissioning means you can run the actual train on it.
Actual trains have to be run.
Because the investment will start getting
only
returns
after the trains start running.
Yes. So this is a positive development.
Mr. Shiv Gopal Mishra, would you agree with that? Is this an achievable target?
Well, first of all, I think that if they put all the money and men all together, so it can be achievable. But my issue is something different. That we have lines which have been commissioned, but those are non-operational. Why they are non-operational? Because we don't have men. We have vacancies of 2,56,000 available, and with these new assets for which no creation is there, no man is there. So who is going to operate? The Commissioner Railway Safety has put an embargo that up to and until you will have 50% staff for the maintenance of these new lines. we will not allow you to operate the trains. Then even after if they achieve the target, how you will operate it? There are many lines which have been created, which have been achieved, but those are non-functionary. So that is a great question. I think that should also be keep in the mind.
Okay, that's interesting. Satish Mishra,
that's
this is a problem over the last several years actually. Every year we have been hearing this from the Railwaymen's Federation, the union, saying that there has not been new recruitment.
It's a very valid argument. How do you operate without men? And even technologies are not available that whether you don't need.
That technology is replacing.
Exactly. So, fact of the matter is the minister must focus on this issue, must take up this issue on priority. Because if he is promising something, pledging something, then he will have to focus on that.
Mr. Mishra, why is this? Why has this been a problem? Because I can understand, because over a period of time we have been hearing ministers saying that they have to, and the government generally talking about cutting the flab. But cutting flab in railways, can it work? Has there enough modernization been done, computerization been done to replace men?
No, men are definitely required. Men are required for so many activities where there is no mechanization. For example, you see, we used to have more than 15 lakh railwaymen. I think Mr. Shivgopalji will have better figures than I have. It reduced to less than 13 lakhs or close to 13 lakhs. In last 2-3 years, there has been some recruitment, but that is not commensurate with the requirement. So, some lines which have been completed and commissioned are not operational because on the level crossing gates, they are not able to post persons. They are not able to man the stations. So, all this is there, but recruitment drive is also going on. I am not exactly aware what is the deficit. I think Shivgopalji will be in a better position to say, but yes, there is definitely requirement that more recruitment should be done.
Sanjay, what is the government doing as far as the recruiting people are concerned?
As far as recruitment is concerned, the focus is not to increase man strength actually. They are trying to reduce the men's. So only the safety category posts are being recruited, and all other works they are trying to outsource. So the focus is not to increase the strength but reduce it.
Okay. I think on that note we need to end. We can run out of time, but it's interesting. There is, everybody agrees that there has been a sincere effort on the part of the railway minister to improve situation, reorganize, restructure, rejuvenate. But how much he'll be able to succeed, we'll have to wait and watch, because he faces a number of roadblocks, as all my panelists have pointed out. We'll have to observe how he'll be able to overcome those roadblocks. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in the big picture same time tomorrow.